Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fox Den. Now, before I get even explaining this story, I'm gonna say one thing. For the Emperor! Because this is another Warhammer 40k what if. Now, I'm gonna ask you guys to suspend your disbelief a little from both My Hero and Warhammer. That way I'm doing this story. Now, how I'm doing this story is, well, in this universe, damn it. In this universe, the Imperium was almost wiped out, so a lone group of Inquisitors was sent back in time through the warp. Sent through the warp, but something happened which resulted in them being sent back in time. But thanks to them being sent back in time, this caused a disturbance, which is how quirks were formed. And ever since then, these Inquisitor forces, along with some few Sisters of Battle, and of course some others, were stranded and forced to rebuild. And now we would cut to a scene that will happen way later in the story. Oh my... I wish it didn't come to this, or better yet, I'll have the story explain it. All Might, I wish it hasn't come to this. Even though your actions were just, you know too much. Know the cause is now gone. The dark you brushed left a permanent stain. You become a risk. No, this wasn't your fault. You must be purged for this. This will happen. Yes, as I did take some lines from String Storm's Months of Shame song. His song for Months of Shame. However, the way I'm doing the story, this fits perfectly, and you'll see why soon. Now we will cut to 50 years before the event of My Hero, where we would cut to a church in Spain. The nuns and priests of this certain church are telling stories of old about a man known as the Emperor of Mankind. But on the second floor of the church, there are a group of men and women dressed in what looks like high-tech versions of the old witch hunter armor used in the American Salem witch trials. As the one who has blonde hair flowing to her shoulders and with purple eyes would speak up. Okay, everyone. Ever since the rise of these quirks, it's been harder to find and eliminate chaos. On another note, it's been years since we awoke to this new timeline. We must make sure our history doesn't die out. Now, on to another matter. Hisashi, you wanted to say something? Yes. Thank you, Miss Ironhurst. Hisashi would discuss his plans to integrate the last church of the Emperor in every part of society, and they would agree. But he would have one condition. on this matter. Hisashi, during your new job, you would have the usage of the gene seeds we've managed to gather. Thanks to our... You'll use the gene seeds we have on us to make a new Space Marine chapter, completely loyal to us and the Imperium. With a simple yes, man, Hisashi would leave the church to accept his new mantle as the villain known as All for One. Fast forward a few decades, the hero known as Nana is currently fighting the villain known as All for One, as this fight would go to canon. However, as soon as All Might left and the cameras turned away, All for One would heal Nana, with him stating, "Sorry boss, I had to make it convincing." He would say, with Nana would say, "It's alright, Hisashi. It's a good opportunity to see how these heroes would react to the death of a really well-known hero who was loyal to the Church of Man." Nana, not quotation mark, Nana would say, with Hisashi turning around saying, "Yes, Miss Ironhurst, I understand. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go back to doing my operations." And I would tell you right now, it's a lot harder to try to imitate a body without wasting the gene seed. But I'm pretty sure I found a way. I'm calling these creatures Nomu. I'll have a couple of these up and running later, pretty far in the future. We're currently in the early stage development. However, I do have new members of the church. They're under my command, thanks to me using a quirk that I've gathered. This quirk is called Dominate Person. It allows me to force my will onto others. I've given this to to some of my followers. One being a undead soldier I've brought back to life as the first Nomu experiment, Korogiri. I'm changing some of the timelines and stuff to, well, kind of fit in line with how I'm doing the story, so don't get mad at me. He was the first one I used this quirk on, and he's completely loyal to me. The second is a little kid. I used it on him, and, well, he's loyal to me now as well. I'm going to give this quirk to you, Miss Ironhurst, boss, so you can use it on some other people when you have the chance. As Nana would agree, or Ironhurst, Tyrion Ironhurst would agree. With them going there after All for One or Hisashi would transfer this quirk to Ironhurst, they would go their separate ways. Now we fast forward to the canon timeline of my hero, where we would see during the entrance exam Ironhurst there, not as Nana, but as Miss Ironhurst, a nun, high nun of the Church of Man, a Church of Man representative from Spain, here to set up a church in Japan, and was invited by Nezu to, well, have a meeting to talk about displacements. Because Nezu has been keeping an eye on this church, and he's actually curious about the church's stories, so he's invited their head nun. As we cut to his office. So, Miss Ironhurst, who is this Emperor of Mankind, if you don't mind me asking? With Ironhurst simply stating basically everything from 30k and some bits and pieces from 40k. With Nezu saying, so you're telling me that this Emperor is basically what started you guys down the road of internal war, but who also protects people and helps everyone he can. And he often is blamed for things he never did. If Irons were saying, that is correct, Nezu, sir. This seems very interesting. I would say, how about we shake on this, and I'll help you get your church settled. And now let me tell you how dominate person works. You have to have physical contact with someone, and their mind has to be agree with you on one point. They have to agree on your one point, and that's how they'll get dominated by you for that specific purpose. Because Nezu agreed to, well, help build the Church of Man, / spread the ideology of the Emperor Mankind around, Nezu will be affected by the quirk. It does last forever. However, the main weakness of it is that if someone tells Nezu that he's under control, he's being controlled, he will break out of it. That's why dominate person is a double-edged sword. And then Ironhurst would shake Nezu's hand, activating dominate person. Nezu's head would quickly dip down and slowly raise up, saying, "Madam Ironhurst, I'm under your command. I shall begin the funding to the Church of Man inside the school. We shall provide. You shall be assigned here as a teacher, if you like, madam, to help educate the students." And now, guys, I have to end it here because I'm currently doing the D&D stuff with some friends, and yeah. It's a very short one, but there's a reason why, too. Tell me down below, who do you want to see as a Space Marine, or consequently a Psyker, or some sort of stuff like that, or, hell, maybe a Commissar. The entirety of my hero cast of 1A and 1B are open to you guys. Tell me who you want to see as a Space Marine. Or Sisters of Battle if they're female. Anyways, sorry for the short upload. I have some D&D stuff going on, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Toodaloo.